again. In our family, we say there's always the one more thing. And this is the one more thing that I'm doing at the very tail end of fall, literally just days before the official start of winter. And that is, I have peonies roots to plant. I should have planted these earlier, but I didn't have the energy with COVID, and then it rained, and then there was Thanksgiving, and then. And so I am planting them now, just in hopes that they'll come up. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I think the ground is not frozen over solid yet, so I think they'll be okay. And we've got a couple more weeks, I think, coming up of relatively mild temperatures, and I think they'll get settled just fine and come up in the spring. It's going to take these peonies several years to really come to the point where they're blooming. The first year, I'll just get a little bit of growth. Second year, I might get a flower or two. Hopefully by the third year, they'll grow. I am going to show you how this area that I've been working on in this fall, I've showed you in a couple of videos how it's coming along. In the distance, in the background, you see the back part of my house, and you'll see the row of blackberries along the fence line to the kitchen garden. Under the white, you see where I finished off that bed, refreshed it. There's some kale growing that was planted this spring. And I think I'm going to be putting an asparagus bed in there, although I'm not 100% sure. There are perennial flowers growing on the other end. In the foreground, you'll see a very long bed that I started a couple of years ago, expanded last year, and then expanded a bit more this year. No dig beds only. And you can see I have under the very foreground, under the hay that's along the border, that's where I planted a whole double row, actually a triple row of daffodils that will line this in the spring. Today, Nathan helped me with putting some mulch down on the pathways, the boundaries all around this bed. So that should keep the weeds from encroaching as the spring comes along. And on the end here, on the north end, I have already planted, I have a row of 4 peonies. You can see them how in the dipped out area, that's where they're planted. Today, I'm going to take the rest of the peonies and I'm going to plant them in a line. I don't have enough to go all the way down the row, but I have 7 and I'm going to dig those in and plant them on the outside of where these daffodils are growing. So hopefully they will grow up, and that will be a nice row of peonies for picking and looking at out of the kitchen windows. So the peonies should be planted about 3 feet apart on center. And so I've got this row of, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 5 down to here. I'm just going to plant them on the outside. You really need to dig a hole fairly deep initially. And then you'll mound that dirt up in the center, the soil up in the center. Oh, it's nice and rich. Now, the only risk that I'm taking, and this may not work here because this is in the shadow of near a walnut tree, and walnut trees are problematic for a lot of things. I've read different things about peonies and whether they'll grow in near a walnut or not, but I figure I'm going to plant these. I'll see what happens if they don't grow or they don't thrive, but then I'll move them before they get too established. Peonies are a very long-lived flower, so they say you got to plant them where you really want to keep them. And I figured this would be a nice border, no matter when, at some point, as time goes on. It would always be kind of a nice place for a border of flowers. Here's the peony root, and you can see that it's got several points that are coming out. You want those to be about 2 inches below the surface. And then those buds that's where you're going to get the shoots coming up from. So about 2 inches below the surface, and then lots of nice loose earth around that. Okay, that's peony number 1, and we'll measure about 3 feet. On center, 1, 2, 3. Here comes peony number 2. Well, the sun is sinking low in the sky, and we got this job done. As I was going through stuff, I found 25 more daffodils. So I went ahead and planted those 2. So you can see where the outside row is where I planted 7 more peonies, and then I planted additional daffodils all the way down. So this entire bed should be lined with daffodils and ultimately peonies. Maybe I'll put some kind of other shrubbery in this area to anchor this end or maybe wait till next fall and plant another peony or two. But I think maybe some sort of, maybe we'll do an evergreen kind of shrub. Who knows what we'll do. But this area now is going to have garlic, maybe asparagus flower bed, some strawberries, and daffodils rimming it, and peonies rimming it. I think in the future this is going to be a really gorgeous, gorgeous area. So I thank you so much for watching. I hope you're well. Take care. Bye.